So far we have discussed about static latches and registers. So the main disadvantages in using the static gates is its complexity. When registers are used in computational structures, they should be constantly clocked, and hence the requirement that the memory should hold state for the extended period of time can significantly be relaxed. So this results in a class of circuits based on temporary storage of charge on parasitic capacitors. This principle is exactly the identical to that of the one used in the dynamic logic. The dynamic logic circuits that we are going to discuss is the dynamic transmission gate edge trigger registers, then CMOS, that is clocked CMOS circuits, in which we are assuming no clock skew is considering, and then we are going to discuss about the two single phase clock registers. Under C square MOS circuit, we are going to discuss on C square MOS register and dual edge register. Okay, so next is thus we are going to discuss on the dynamic transmission gate edge trigger registers here. This is a fully dynamic positive edge trigger register based on master slave concept. When the clock is 0 here, see, we are using the transmission gate with the input, and then this is your master and this is your slave. Is it? We are using on transmission gate where the output of this transmission gate is connected to the inverter, and similarly the output of this second transmission gate is connected to the inverter too. Okay. So now I am trying to give my clock as 0, which means that your clock bar is 1, which make the master to be in on condition. Now the master is providing its response, and hence we are getting the output QM. And next, when the clock is changed to 1, now the master is in hold state, and now the slave is in transparent condition. So now we are, as the clock is transferred from 0 to 1, the clock bar will changes from 1 to 0, and clock is now 1 and your clock bar is 0. Now this transmission gate T2 is in on condition. This makes your slave to be in transparent and master to be in hold. Thus the total setup time here is equal to transmission gate time and the hold time, that is equal to 0, and the clock to Q time. Okay, this hold time equal to 0 is due to the transmission gate turned off on the clock edge, and further the input changes are ignored. Based on this, the setup time is calculated. And next we are going to find the impact on clock overlap. Okay, when the clock is overlapping now. So let us say there exists a 0-0 overlap. There exists a race condition, and if there exists a 1-1 overlap, there exists a race condition. So let us say when the clock and clock bar, if these two are with 1 and 1 overlap. See here, this red is 1 and 1 overlap, and here the blue is 0-0 overlap. First let us start with 0-0 overlap. So the NMOS of T1, see here, when your clock is 0, your clock bar is also 0. All it is 0, is it? So now say this transistor is in off condition, and this PMOS transistor of transmission gate is in on condition. Similarly here this is in off, and T2 PMOS is in on condition. Hence the path exists from D to Q is directly there. Your master slave condition is not in operation. Hence the race condition may occur. Thus the PMOS transistor am I correct? Thus the PMOS transistors of both master and slave of the transmission gate are in on condition, and the output of Q changes with respect to D directly. No master slave configuration existing. Thus here you can say your T overlap, even though your overlap exists, that T overlap should not, this on condition of time should not be helped to propagate your D2 output. Hence the overlap time of 0-0 should be less than time due to your transmission gate and time due to your inverter, first inverter, and time due to your transmission gate 2. If you add all these time operations, it should be very, very greater compared to the overlap time of 0-0. Okay, in which your T overlap 0-0 should be less than these time. Hence automatically your D will not be propagated to your output. And now when we have an overlap of 1-1, see, I am having 1-1 here instead of 0. Now my clock is 1. Okay, now the NMOS transistor of the transmission gate T1 and T2 are in on condition. Once again D is propagated to your output. Here your overlap 1 should be less than your T hold time. Your overlap should be less than your T hold time. So this is basically regarding the dynamic transmission gate edge trigger register. It is similar to, it is exactly a master slave configuration. We need to explain, then we need to explain about the overlap condition. This is a dynamic two-phase MOSFET of flip-flops. See here, so far we have discussed about only single-phase clocks. Clock 0. See here, it is clock where we are inverting this clock and then we are utilizing it. Here we are using two clocks, clock 1 and clock 2. And here we are giving clock 1 bar and clock 2 bar. So now in this case, when clock is 1, okay, when clock is 1, my clock bar is 0, which make master to be in transparent and slave to be in hold at that time. So when master is on, my slave should be in off condition, is it? At that time my clock 2 should be 0 and clock 2 bar should be 1. This makes this transmission gate to be in off condition and this transmission gate, first transmission gate, to be in on condition. Now it works, your master is in transparent, is it? So this is your master side and this is your slave side. Now your master is in transparent and slave is in hold condition. And when you switch your clock from, for clock 2 you are switching from 0 to 1, okay, and your clock 2 bar is from 1 to 0. Hence now your T2 transistor, that is your slave, is in transparent, and for this case your clock is transit from 0 to 1 and clock 1 is transit from 1 to 0. Now your master is in hold and slave is in transparent. The principle of working is exactly same, that are the single phase clock and clock bar. What we are doing here is two different clocks are utilized and these two clocks should be in a non-overlapping condition. And here the overlap of 0, 0, you see the on condition of clock 1 and clock 2 are in non-overlapping, and this 0, 0 condition of clock should time it is maintaining for 0, 0 should be less than the time of T1 plus time of inverter plus time of T2. Okay, so this is regarding your dynamic transmission gate edge trigger. Next is your clocked CMOS FET flip-flops. Okay. This is your clocked CMOS register and this is operating in two phases. See, we are having M1, M2, M3 and M4 transistor, where M1 and M3 are NMOS transistor, M2 and M4 are PMOS transistor, where your M1 and M2 are interlinked and you are connecting your D. Okay, here for M4 gate we are connecting the clock and for M3 gate we are connecting the clock bar. Okay, in between your M3 and M4 we are taking our output. So that is your QM. So this is from master side. On your slave side, see M5, M6, M7 and M8 transistors are there. Here M5 and M6 are connected. The gate of M5 and M6 are interlinked and it is connected to QM. And for M7 the clock is connected and for M8 the clock bar is connected. And in between your M7 and M8 we are taking our output Q. So there exists a capacitance effect C1 on your master side and C2 on your slave side. So that is marked here as C1 and C2. Now let us consider when the clock is 0. When clock is 0. See here I am considering the clock here as 0. And I am considering, and hence automatically my clock bar is 1. Here this is 1 and this is 0. See, now this is in on condition. M4 is in on condition, M3 is in on condition, and based on the inputs, say let us say I am giving my input as 1. So this is acting as a simple inverter, right? So if I am giving a 1, as M1 is in on condition and M2 is in off condition, I will get my output here QM as 0. I will get my output here as 0. So hence whatever be the value of D, that will be propagated to your QM in an inverted form. Okay. So now in this case when clock is 0, master is in transparent and slave is in hold state. Now when I am switching from clock 0 to 1, see I am switching my clock to 1 here. And hence my clock bar is changed to 0 and here the clock is shifted to 1, okay, and clock bar is shifted to 0. So now your master is in hold state because those M3 and M4 transistors are in off condition. Now M7 and M8 are in on condition. So now your master is acting as a hold and slave is acting as a transparent. Now this QM will be propagated to your output in an inverted form. Okay, so now this 0 is transited to M6 and M5. Now your PMOS M6 is in on condition and M5 is in off condition, and now you will get your output as 1. So now whatever be the value of D will be propagated to your output after your clock is transit from initially it is 0, and then if it is transit from 0 to 1, you will get your output. Okay, this is a clock skew insensitive flip-flop. This is a clock skew insensitive flip-flop, and this discussion is similar to that of your dynamic transmission gate edge trigger registers. The important difference here is your C-square register with clock bar is insensitive to overlap as long as the rise and fall times of the clock edges are significantly small. Okay, see here, this rise and fall time edges, if it is significantly small, there is no such overlap. Otherwise, it would be in an overlap conditions. Okay. So this is what the case. And let us consider if there exists an overlapping condition when clock is 0 and 0, when both the clocks are 0 0, all the clocks are 0 0, if the overlapping condition of 0 0 existing. Okay, if it is 0 0, see here, I'm making my clock as 0 0, which makes this transmission gate to be in on condition, transistor PMOS transistor to be in on condition and in off condition, is it? And here it is in on condition, yeah, and here it is in off condition. Yes, when both are 0 0. Now the path exists here is, see, through M4 and then through M8. If M6 is or M6 is in off condition, on condition, through M8 you will have a path. Okay. In this case, if you are giving your D as 0, which means the path existing here is path existing here is actually is through M4, is because this is an on condition, right? So whenever I am giving my input here as 0, so now the exact path we will calculate. See, M2, the path M2, M4, see, here you will get your output as 1, which makes your M5 to be in on condition. You are connecting to ground, is it? So D will not be propagated to Q, but will be sampled at QM. Before propagate to Q, your clock bar will turn to 1. Hence, therefore, D will not propagate to Q. Hence, your clock skew is overcome here. Similarly, when you consider your clock is 1, see, when my clock is changed to 1, the shortest path exists here is, see, this is in on condition. I am encircling with blue. And as I am giving clock as 1 here, this M7 is in on condition, is it? Hence M3, and I am now giving my input as 1. If D is 1, which makes your M1 to be in on condition, which helps your output to be 0 here, QM will be 0. See here, my M3, M1, these will be in on condition, M3, M1, and then as this is in on condition, and M6 will be in on condition. This is the shortest path, and now my output once again will not be propagated to Q, but it is sampled at QM. Before it is sampling to Q, the overlapping will not be existing. The clock skew will not be occurring in this clocked CMOS FET circuits. Okay, this is what the case. So it is given in a separate figure here. For 0 0 overlap case, it would be in this condition. Okay, and for 1 1 overlap case, it would be in this condition. Next, we'll move on to dual edge registers. So far, edge trigger registers were focused that sample the input data on only one of the clock edges. Okay, So what we have discussed so far is we are sampling the input data at only one of the clock edges. But what we are going to do now is it has to sample for both the edges and we need to get the output for both the conditions. Which means that it has two parallel master slave edge trigger registers whose outputs are multiplexed by using tri-state drivers. Okay. Now let us consider when clock is 1. See here, when clock is 1 here, your clock bar is 0, here it is 1, and then your clock bar is 0. Okay, here it is 1, your clock bar is 0, here this is 1, and clock bar, I hope this is clock bar, this is clock bar, hence this is 0 and this is 1. Okay, clock is 1. Okay, this is the case we are giving when clock is 1. So the transistors that are in on condition are M1. Let us say this is your this transistor will be in on condition, this transistor will be in on condition, this is in off 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 condition, this is in on condition, and this is in on condition. See, now this is acting as a master, this is acting as a slave. So in this case, now the master is in transparent state, hence the data that is in D will be sampled at Q. Now your slave is in hold state. Okay, when clock is 1, say I am making when my clock is 1. Okay, I am marking here as master 1, slave 1, and here I am considering it as master 2 and slave 2. Okay, so when clock is 1, my master is transparent, master 1 is transparent, and slave 1 is in hold state. Okay, at the same time my master 2 is in hold state and slave 2 is in transparent state. Slave 2 is in transparent state. Okay, so now when I am transiting from my clock to 0, 1 to 0 I am transiting, and now my master is in hold state. Now the data that is there in X will be processed in your slave, and now your slave S1 is in transparent state, and now master 2 is in transparent and slave 2 is in hold. Okay, now I will get my output Q. Okay, from master 1. During the next sampling for 0 to 1, my master is in transparent, M1 is in transparent, and slave is in hold state, slave 1 is in hold state. See, and then my master 2 is in hold state and slave 2 is in transparent, and slave 2 is in transparent. Okay, see how it is working for master 1 and master 2. For the first clock cycle you are getting your master 1 output, and for subsequent on and off of your clock you are getting your outputs continuously from this master 1 and master 2. Okay, this is what a dual edge trigger registers are. Okay, thus here the data is getting at your output for both the edges of your clock. This is what a dual edge trigger registers are. Next we will move on to true single phase clock latches. Or then later on we will move on to registers. Okay. So as far as true single phase latches is concerned, there is a positive latch and negative latch are there. Two different latches are positive latch and negative latch. Here when clock is 1, it is also with master slave concept. So this is master and this is slave concept. Here also in positive latch it is master and slave. Okay, master and slave concept. See here we are using PMOS in which the gate is connected to clock. Here also the clock is utilized to, and here the PMOS gate is connected to clock. Okay, in case of positive latch, your NMOS, we are instead of PMOS there we are using NMOS here. Here the gate of NMOS is connected to clock. Similarly on the slave side the gate of NMOS is connected to clock. Okay, now in this case when clock is 1, for the negative latch I will start when clock is 1, master is in hold state and slave is in transparent state. Okay, at the same time see here in a positive latch when clock is 1, okay, master is in transparent state and slave is in hold state. Okay, this is what the case when clock is 1. Similarly when clock is 0, a reverse case will be there. Okay, this is regarding a basic positive and negative latch. And now we can embed the logic in this two single phase clock latches. Okay. So embed the logic in the sense you can realize a 2-input NAND gate or 2-input NOR gate or 2-input XOR gate or 2-input AND gate, whatever be the logic you need to realize, you can use it. Okay, so how we can use it is, see, you are using a positive latch here. We are using because NMOS gate is connected to clock. See here, NMOS we are utilizing in which the gate is connected to clock. Hence, see, the clock is connected to the gate of your NMOS. Okay, and above the clock of this NMOS, a pull-up network is connected, and below the clock of this NMOS, the pull-down network is connected, and the gates of this pull-up and pull-down are interlinked, and you are giving your input. Okay, and from between your pull-up and clock transistor, pull-up network and your clock transistor, you are taking your output QM. We can say it is a master slave set, and so intermediate output will be there. So this is connected to the inverter, and then we are taking our output. So now we can realize a 2-input AND gate using this true single phase clock circuits. See here, for pull down network, we need to, for the AND gate realization, we need to connect two NMOS in series and two PMOS in parallel. Okay, see, we have connected like this. That we know already, is it? In between the PMOS and NMOS, we are connecting the clock using NMOS transistor. That is what it is done here. The output is connected to the inverter. Okay, and here also it is controlled by clock on the slave side. So hence, on the output side, you will get your output Q. So this output is for your AND gate operation. So you can give the corresponding inputs and you check for the valid output. And similarly, you can for any other logic, you can work for D flip-flops in which a master-slave configuration can work. So thus we have discussed about the dynamic latches and registers. So this includes the discussion on dynamic transmission gate H-trigger registers, then clock CMOS circuits, and then true single phase clock registers. Okay.